Hey folks, Steve here, and before this episode starts, boy do I have some really cool stuff to share with you on this intro. First of all, you may remember Jason of What Do You Do Pods fame from a couple Zone of Truth episodes ago and his super exciting Super Smash Finder initiative. Well, a new damn challenger has joined the fray, and we need your help to pack the virtual house for the event. This upcoming Wednesday, January 24th of 2021, for those of you listening way in the future after the event happened, the HLP's very own team, the Adamantine Tankards, will be taking on the Justice and Mercy team, consisting of our peers from the show Dicefall and Everyone Dies. We're incredibly excited for this match and invite you all listening to join us at twitch.tv/Super Smash Finder at 8 p.m. Eastern this upcoming Wednesday. Help us show the rest of the Paizoverse that the carrion crowd shows up in force and watch us try our damnedest to pull off the victory. The HLP has cooked up some great characters for the event, and I can't wait for you to see them all in action. But changing gears for a moment here, I want to talk about some exciting content that we've got coming for our Patreon supporters. This Sunday, February 21st at 4 p.m. Eastern, Griffin and I will be hosting another live Zone of Truth for those of you that subscribe to us at the $10 and up tiers. For those of you who haven't joined one yet, Griff and I host an episode live on our Discord while folks send us questions and comments in real time. It's a huge blast, and you can even call into the HLP hotline to ask us questions using your own voice instead of a keyboard. How cool is that? Finally, a quick update on Linked Legacy, our show of revolving modules GM'd by different folks on the HLP, available to patrons at the $5 tier and up. All good things must come to an end, and on that note, the final episode of Griff's Carnival of Tears run will be dropping onto your feeds this upcoming Tuesday, the 23rd. With that story ending, however, a new one is beginning, and starting March 9th, I will be running the crew through a classic module called No Response from Dietmar. If you didn't catch us chatting on it on the last Zone of Truth, it's going to be a very cool story, and I can't wait to share it all with you. In fact, in true HLP fashion, we're way too excited to get started on a new adventure, and are planning on releasing multiple episodes on day one, with the first, or pilot episode, available to every listener on our main feed. Additionally, our great partners at Die Hard Dice are helping us organize a tie-in giveaway of one of their new Deep Space dice sets for listeners of that show, and by subscribing at the $5 and up tiers, you already qualify for the giveaway. No need to do anything. Anyway, again, I'm wildly excited to share the story with you, and I cannot wait for the 9th. See you all then on a little island off the coast of Cheliax called Dietmar. Okay, quick recap. Come on out to the show to show your support for the HLP this upcoming Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern on twitch.tv/Super Smash Finder. Catch that live Zone of Truth this upcoming Sunday at 4 p.m. And I'll be seeing all of you on the 9th for No Response from Dietmar. Business out of the way, let's get to the episode. It's number 132, Deputize Me Captain.
Like liquor and things that go boom? Then buckle up, listener, cause this one's for you. Prepare yourself for the Hideous Laughter Podcast.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Hideous Laughter Podcast, episode 132. Haley, what you drinking?
I am drinking. It is very late. In fact, it's 9:40 p.m.
Wow, it's so late.
And I'm drinking coffee with dark chocolate coffee liqueur as well.
Okay. Interesting.
It's late to have coffee. That's what I'm
It is late to have coffee.
It's not like 9:40 p.m. is late.
Emily, you survived not having to drink the Patreon beverage today because we decided to just keep recording.
Yeah, I get to push it off for the next episode, so please vote kindly on the poll. Today, I have a strawberry lemonade.
Brooks, what you got?
I might sound like a broken record player.
You usually do. You go in these waves of like 15 episodes with the same fucking drink every time.
Well,
what you got?
Yeah. You guys all remember.
It's an onsetter from Wolf's Ridge, an American stout, a beautiful stout.
You
Indeed.
talk about the topography on the can again?
I don't really feel like that's necessarily like what I would like to talk about this time.
Okay.
The colors are just
Like white and light blue. And
but
black.
The actual beer name itself is a nice forest green, the black that outlines the Wolf's Ridge.
Wow, we're
brewing
really painting a
label.
picture of this can for the folks at home. You
Yeah,
guys
but
should
gotta
order
listen-
yourselves a Wolf's Ridge.
You got to listen to all 3 episodes to get it, though.
You do. You really need to listen to them all in a row. You should probably just skip the whole rest of the episodes when you listen to these and just listen to the intros where Brooks talks about his beer right in a row. I think that's the best way to listen.
I agree.
Well, Steve, what you got, buddy?
All right, Griff. Well, you gave me a beer. Thank you
did.
very much. This is from Fegley's Brewworks. Never heard of this place before, but it's called Night of the Slunk. This is a hazy IPA. Very cool can. Lots of gears turning and shit on there. I really like it. I haven't tried the beer yet. I'm excited to try the beer. We'll see how it goes.
Okay.
I do like that quite a bit. I like me some hazy IPAs, and that really hits the spot. And I won't spend 3 weeks to describe the can.
That's
So,
awesome.
Go ahead.
As for me, from Volt Brewing, I'm drinking a Bird in Hand. It's a Pretty Bird stout with cocoa nibs, cinnamon, vanilla, Pretty Bird coffee, and lactose. Don't worry, folks. I took a chewable lactate right before we started recording.
We were worried.
I have T minus 25 minutes to drink this before I get rumbly in my tumbly. So, when last we met our heroes, they gathered some information at the tavern. They went to the recondite order of the Indomitable Sea and were swiftly turned away by some generally unfriendly worshippers. They headed back to the inn and figured out where a man named Gaster Lucas was staying. Looked like he hadn't been in his room for a couple of days. Eclipse then snuck back into the recondite order, the hall, and found the secret room that they had kind of been clued off on by Freya before. Looks like a bloody altar and some Dagon iconography. So they awake the next morning with the sheriff knocking on the door.
Freya gets up and will open the door saying, "What can we do for you?"
Well, ma'am, there's been some reports around town about you causing some hubbub since you've come into town. We got reports from the Recondite Order, got reports from patrons at the Wall-Eyed Kraken, and I'm gonna need you to come with me. Now, I'm not here to arrest you, but Mayor Greedle wants to get to know who's come into town. And he sent me over to, well, either take you there nicely or take you in by force.
So he asks you to come in the wee hours of the morning to wake us up and bring us in?
It's 8 a.m., you drunkard. I've been at work for 2 hours already.
Oh, I guess we had a later night than I thought.
There are reports of you day drinking in the Wall-Eyed Kraken yesterday, causing all kinds of ruckus.
Hey, I bought her lots of drinks. It was very fun.
We're just trying to get acquainted with the town. We're doing no harm. If the mayor wants to speak with us, we'll come peacefully. Just let us gather ourselves.
Good idea. I'm gonna go wake your friends up. And he has some deputies in tow, and he goes and knocks on the Air Bear Matumbe door. Well, he's not sure which door is which, so he knocks on the 6th door.
Oh no.
Big mistake. He's hanging pictures.
I'm trying to hang pictures! Oh, sorry. Hello, good morning. I need you to come with me.
Well, my friend there, Bear, just finished hanging his pictures, so I think we're good to go.
Perfect. I'm Sheriff Real Anders. You're outsiders to my town. Feel like I'm gonna have to keep an eye on you, but hopefully you and Mayor Greedle can have a productive conversation and you won't be causing any trouble in town after that.
No trouble from us. We come in peace, merely to help our friend, Mr. Croon.
And that's not what the members of the Order reported.
Oh, that was misunderstanding.
I am sorry that they reported that to you. I hope we can clear this up with your mayor.
Sounds good if the four of you would follow me. I'll take you to town hall, see Mayor Greedle. And you are led to a 3-story structure. It's the largest in town. As you enter, you see that the mayor's office and the council chambers are on the ground floor. And it looks like, signs point to the sheriff's office and armory on the second floor. And you imagine this building probably has a jail somewhere. But you're led in the direction of the mayor's office. And you are greeted by a scrawny man with oily skin and red splotched cheeks. He is dressed in a formal, though somewhat shabby coat and top hat. And he appears slightly out of breath, as though he's stressed out. Well, hello there. I'm Mayor Early Greedle. It's a pleasure to see newcomers to our town. I've heard there was some hubbub, some disturbance in town, and I was hoping maybe we could clear the air. Heard you were maybe asking questions about our kind townfolk, and prying around the recondite order of the Indomitable Sea, which is all fine. Those aren't, jailable offenses, but I was thinking maybe we may get down to brass tacks. I could answer some questions for you if you're in need of information. You seem to be, folks reported, working for Croon the Crackpot, are you? That's, a noble line of work, but I tend to think that people don't travel from far and wide to work for Mr. Croon. Wondering if you have any other intentions.
We appreciate you taking the time to talk with us. We've done no harm to this town. We were merely wanting to connect with the people and worship. We meant no disrespect.
Well, don't think that I'm over here thinking that you mean disrespect. That's not... Obviously, I want to have you here to have a civil conversation with you. I know what it's like to deal with outsiders. I've done it. Plenty. A lot of the people in this town, though, hardly met somebody from outside of Illmarsh. You gotta understand that trying to get to know people that so set in their ways is kind of difficult. I don't doubt that it's a misunderstanding that the people of this town come to the sheriff asking questions, worried about your intentions and worried about what you're doing in town. But I wanted to call this meeting so I could get to know you and make sure that it is just silly townsfolk ideas in their little brains that you're not truly out to get us.
I would like to sense motive.
And does he smell?
He does smell.
Okay. I'm also going to sense motive.
Okay, I'm going to sense
Same
motive.
here.
Sorry, that's actually a perception check to smell.
I got a 30 on the sense motive. That's a dirty 30 to some.
Oh, I was going to aid, but
23.
18.
Mine's poor.
Matumbe, he seems like he's genuine that he'll answer your questions, but you notice an air of nervousness about him that he's trying not to project to you.
I see. Okay. Cool. Yes, we want no misunderstanding between our group and your fine town. In fact, we have stayed a night here already and have been very pleasantly surprised with the accommodations. Your town has been very welcoming.
That doesn't quite sound like us, but glad you've got that impression, I suppose.
We've been to very many places and have very many stories. This is welcoming compared to some.
Well, is there any information I can impart that would help you along your way?
The barkeep yesterday said some weird things about the fish in town and, like, why everyone's so upset lately.
We have had a turn of bad luck lately. Fishing boats haven't been coming in full for the last few weeks. Folks are starting to get nervous. Now, I wouldn't say it's a crisis yet, but I expect folks will look anywhere to blame something. The vizier of the order, says there's nothing to worry about, but he's probably right. The lake's always provided for us, provided we respect it and keep to the old ways. I'm hoping things will turn around. They always seem to.
We might be doing some work in the lake. What are the old ways that we should be respecting to make sure that we continue to follow the same thing? We don't want to be part of that. Also fish, that is.
Well, I mean, nothing you can do to help with the old ways. The old ways are tradition in this town. You wouldn't be, it's really what this town's been doing for the neighbors for generations. It's not anything you'd be messing up by being here.
Even some of the work we're doing in the lake?
Well, I don't know the nature of the work you're doing in the lake, but I'd say you probably better have a permit for it.
Okay. Well, we're going to need to know more about that.
We are mere contractors. Our employer should have all the requisite permits, I would imagine.
Good call, Matumbe. Yeah, good call.
Mr. Croon, you take it up with him.
I've always said you can't believe a word Crackpot Croon says. Everything's a conspiracy to him. Whether you're talking about the weather or the latest grand invention he's got his head caught up in, it's a wonder he hasn't blown himself up yet. Or worse, the town. I mean, he's a good-natured fella, but I'm surprised you're working for him. Don't take him too seriously.
He needs a lot of help, and that's why we're here.
Roll me a bluff check.
Oh boy.
Oh, no, Emily.
Can I try to aid with knowledge engineering?
No.
What?
Just want to aid.
I just want to aid
Say
with
something.
With something I have. I'd like to aid with disable device.
I mean, talk about how we're part.
Brooks, this is
Part of-
I unlock a lock quickly in front of him.
So that's a 9, unless he is able to inflict disease or is suffering from disease, and he looked a little gross, and then it would go up to an 11.
Gross, but not
Good call.
disease.
Yep, good
Darn
call.
You're not really here working for Mr. Croon, are you? You don't look the type. You're a cleric of some sort. You got another holy man. That one doesn't deal with machinery. Look at the swords on his back, and I'm sorry, madam, but I don't think I've ever seen whatever you are in my life.
I am incredibly strong and can lift the heavy equipment.
I think he has winches for that kind of thing. I find it hard to believe you're all here working for Mr. Croon. Especially because he never mentioned he'd have another crew, and because he hired a bunch of people in town yesterday.
And they abandoned him.
They may have done that, but I think he would have just waited a day for you if you were truly working for him.
Wit did help bring his boat back in through the storm.
To me, that seems like a happenstance occurrence more so than you working for him.
And we certainly plan to work or talk to him about all of his inventions and go see him regularly.
You can keep blowing smoke up my ass if you want to. That's fine. Don't tell me why you're here. I just want to help. But I can tell you're lying to me already, and that's not the foundation of a good relationship.
Okay, no, it's not. So here's the thing. We came here from Thrushmore because there was some people who were trying to attack us. We followed them to Thrushmore, And then we were told that they were here.
Well, you're the first foreigners we've had through here in some time.
Are you sure of that? We were chasing a rider who should have appeared in your town just a few days ago.
We also have evidence of such.
Well, I'd be curious to see this evidence, because no one like that's come to town lately.
I do question whether or not they lost or ditched the appearance that we saw them in, because the only person that the barkeep could remember being here and staying at the inn, besides the normal farmers, is, Lucas?
Gaster Lucas?
Yeah. That's the only other person we have any idea on, and we don't even know who that is.
Well, he's an importer. He's out of Caliphas, I think. He's been staying in town the last few months, trying to set up some business deals. I don't think he's had much success on account of the present troubles, but I'm sure some new investors would be just the thing to turn it around and make the deal profitable for all involved. Everybody knows we could use a little more trade and prosperity hereabouts.
Has he been here those few months? Has he ever left town?
No, he stayed in town.
Can we do a bluff check on that?
Or sense motive.
Or sense
motive.
Sense motive would counter a bluff. Because he hasn't been back to his room in days.
Yeah.
I don't think he was
19
ever
sense
there.
motive. Not great.
Worse than that.
I have 25, and then I have a couple special things.
Special, like if he's in a disguise.
Or under an enchantment or
Okay.
some sort of effect.
Eclipse, you sense from his body language that he's like eyeing you guys up, hoping that you could be the ones that create a profitable deal and maybe bring profit to the town. But you don't think he's hiding anything about Gaster Lucas.
Well, I do think that maybe we could work with Gaster Lucas. Our change purses are quite full. Matumbe, show him.
Slams down the 179 gold pieces that I have.
Wow, I'm a lowly mayor. I've never seen that much gold. You can sense motive that. He's seen that much gold.
And say Eclipse has her 130. So probably combined, we probably have a lot, but...
Wow, you guys have enough to almost buy a quarter of a Cure Light Wounds wand. Whoa.
Well, either way, that's what I said.
Okay. Anything else?
So, Mr. Mayor, you talked about the old ways and how we can't really, we probably won't affect them in any of the work with Horse, which we legitimately are going to be doing at some point. I'm sure of that.
I'm sure, just like pigs fly.
Have you not seen this? It's very cool. Anyways, moving on. You talk about these old ways and the neighbors, and so did the barkeep. Who are these neighbors? The barkeep didn't have a lot of information.
The neighbors? Mm-hmm. They're from a little settlement out in the wilds down bay. It's so small it doesn't even have a real name. I've never been down there myself. I don't know many people who have, but they're good people. Folks around here consider them kind of a good luck charm for the town. I suppose there's some trails that lead to their village or what have you, but they mostly just come to town every once in a while when they have business to attend to.
Have you ever met them when they've come to town?
Once or twice. Seen them about.
You say that they are good people? Then
They're good people on both sides.
We should go see them, no?
If you could find the trail to their town, like I said, I've never been to their little settlement.
But you know where the trails are?
No, I've never been down the trails either. I don't know which ones lead there, which ones don't. I haven't seen them come all the way here.
Is there anything that would entice them to come here?
Not that I can think of. Again, that's... You may have heard. We haven't seen the neighbors in some time.
Oh, no. Did something happen where they're upset with the town?
That I don't know. Maybe calamity on their part. I can't be sure. We haven't heard any word.
And I just want to clarify, Are the neighbors very similar to the people of Illmarsh, or are they different?
Well, I'm sure people are similar and different according to their upbringing. Sure, there's similar people to the people here over there, and there's people different to the people here over there.
So they're also like fishermen and...
Well, I'm sure they do fishing, yeah.
Okay.
We're all by the bay.
Oh,
Has anyone gone to check on him or look for him from the town? You say you have an alliance with them and the friendly.
Nobody's been down to check that I know of.
And you say that they are fishermen, but you've never seen them, or
I've seen them. I just haven't seen their town. I haven't been to their town.
No one went to check on them, even when it seemed like communication between your two communities began to slow down. You never checked to see if they were okay? They were never attacked by any outsiders or miscreants or anything?
We can't really know. It's kind of part of the agreement that we don't go there.
I'm sorry, can you clarify that a little bit? They don't allow you to come to their town?
and what agreement?
The luck would end if we were to go there. They only come here when they need things from us.
Oh, but what about maybe we could be outsiders who go?
Once again, you can go if you can find them.
Well, but
I don't know how to get there.
Will that cause harm?
Probably. Maybe to you, maybe to us, maybe to all of us. Could cause the end of the world, could cause the start of the world, could cause... the sky's the limit. And also the floor.
That seems very extreme for a small group of people.
Well, you're asking me questions I can't possibly have the answer to, and I apologize that I'm getting a little short-tempered with you, but what am I supposed to answer to that?
I was just trying
What's going to happen? I don't fucking know.
Just trying not to break your own agreement with these people.
We want to do this out.
I'm sure they won't take kindly to you visiting them, if you could even find them.
Would it help if we took our shoes off when we visited them?
No, that's a recondite order of the Indomitable Sea thing.
Okay.
Well, why do the outsiders come here? You say that they come here but haven't in a while? Why do they come?
For the fostering, I'm sure you've heard of it. You're asking questions about it earlier. I know our tipsy bartender probably told you too much.
She did mention that very briefly, but it...
I mean, it's just another part of the traditions of this town. I don't even know where the word comes from. It's just what we call it when one of Illmarsh's daughters goes off to marry one of the neighbors down bay.
Oh, they go to marry?
Of course. What do you think they did?
Oh, well, the bartender, maybe I confused her story, but it sounded like it was children going to the neighbors at bay.
Of course not. That would be strange.
Well, I mean, not if it's a whole alliance thing and they're raising the babies and then they're coming back.
Like I said, fostering is just a term for it. I don't know where it came from, but it's what we've always called it. It's an arranged marriage sort of thing.
Oh, gotcha. Has anyone ever returned?
Not that I've ever heard of. They seem to like their life down bay.
Can I sense motive that? Because that's not what the barkeep told us.
None of this is what the barkeep told us.
I will also sense motive that.
Can I aid someone, or is it all have
You
to
can't
be
aid sense motive.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I always forget that.
23.
Also a 23.
Same.
40.
40?
Jesus.
19 on the die, 6 on the inspiration, 15 on sense motive. That equals 40? I think so. Yeah, 40.
Ha. You could tell he's withholding information to you.
That's fair, but like I don't know how to pump this guy for information. Like, he's being somewhat forthcoming. Like, I don't know what to say.
Would it be possible for you to detect his alignment without drawing too much attention to it? I don't know what kind of components that requires.
Have a pretty fucking good stealth check.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's verbal and somatic. Like,
Okay.
I would
Never
have to talk and like gesticulate in front of him.
Okay.
Do we want to bring up the Watcher at all? Maybe another avenue?
I have another question for him real quick.
Sure.
So, we certainly weren't allowed in the church. We didn't know that at first. We were just trying to visit since our Rastal worshipping friend here knows that Gazra and Rastal are friends, and so wanted to, see it. Are there other places, though, in this town where we can't go as outsiders?
I mean, the Recondite Order, as you guys probably learned, is our local church to Gazra. I'm not much of a praying man myself, but I suppose simple fishing folk have to look to something. What I'm getting at is that the priest can be a little bit self-important, especially the vizier. That's a fancy foreign title for high priest. I mean, he's a good man, he's well respected in town, he's just a little self-important. I think, the church watches out for the folks around here. Maybe they're being a little overprotective. They might have overreacted to you coming in, trying to worship. But I think, realistically, anywhere, as long as somebody welcomes you in, shouldn't have much of a problem. I wouldn't go breaking into people's houses or anything, but I don't think there's anywhere that you necessarily need to avoid.
Do we want to ask about the Watcher, then?
We could also ask about the stone structure, if that has significance to the people of the town, because we haven't really asked about that. It seems like a unique formation that could hold significance.
Sure.
We could just ask him about his position and what it entails and how exactly he got it, because it wasn't all that long ago that the other Undiamase.
20 years ago, at least.
That was about when the neighbors stopped coming, wasn't it? Around the same time that the
20 years ago.
When
Yeah.
the frequency slowed down.
Yeah, about 25, I think.
I wonder if they changed anything.
Is he the only mayor that we know of? Or, has there been other successions, or we have no idea?
You have no idea. You'd think from his age it's possible he's been mayor for, 20 years or whatever, but you're not sure.
There is something of note, again, that maybe sticks out in my head a little bit. The bartender said that the visits from the neighbors started slowing down around the same time that the founders family of this town died out. Did something change? Were they doing something different?
I couldn't tell you. I didn't know much about the Undiamese.
Did anyone in this town know them well? That's still left?
Couldn't say. Maybe the vizier of the order, the Volteros, that family.
Keeps sounding like we have to go back to the church.
Yeah, but we're clearly not welcome there.
I know.
I don't know what
Maybe
to do.
if we got an escort.
Or even if we ask, what about seeing if we can write this person a letter and see if they'll have dinner with us at the inn, neutral ground. I don't know, just try to sort something out, because it sounds like we have to talk to this guy.
If we want to try to get some more backing from the mayor, and this would best go to someone with a good bluff check, if we wanted to lean into the, investors thing, which would be completely switching our story, but if...
I do have 2,000 gold.
What?
I don't know.
And I have an open room. We'll see you back there, big boy.
Been there, done that.
My bluff's only a 4, and I don't think
No.
that's gonna help.
Well, do you have any more questions for me?
When we came to town, we noticed a unique outcropping of stones in the bay. Do those hold any significance?
Oh, the turn rocks. That's where the condemned go to face their judgment in Illmarsh. Usually we find them dead after a few days, from exposure, or drowning, or having bashed out their own brains on the rocks. Sometimes they're just gone. I guess the gods of the sea came and set him free. Whatever's left, we give to the deeps for safekeeping.
I apologize. We are outsiders. You say the condemned. Is these the criminals of your town you send to the rocks?
If the crime's big enough to warrant that kind of punishment, yes. They're sent to the Turn Rocks, shackled there.
That is a little bit strange that they would drown. Horace mentions that the men that he hired swam.
Well, see, the Turn Rocks, when the waves aren't churning, there's a ledge about 3 feet under the surf. It's where we let them stand. We shackle them to the side right there. The waves get high, be pretty easy to drown.
Wow. How long has this practice been going on?
Another wonderful tradition of our town.
So forever? Or like in the past 20 years?
For as long as I've been alive.
Okay, so forever. So then the only other question would be about Watcher that I can think of.
That and getting an audience. Yeah, getting an audience with the cleric. Vizier.
So I've heard a lot about the Watcher. Even in Thrushmore, heard a lot about the Watcher. I don't really know what that is.
It's an old superstition. It's been around for years. Probably every port has one. Some sea monster lives out in the deep and only gets seen by folks out alone at night. But when they're drunk, never when there are witnesses around. I suppose with the downturn lately, people figure the Watcher must have something to do with it.
So you don't believe it's real?
Of course not. That'd be bad for business.
I know it's been a lot, but I want sense out of him again.
Sure.
It just doesn't feel right.
We should maybe ask him how he became mayor of this town.
26 on the sense motive.
Also 26.
Nice.
Yeah, you get the vibe that he truly believes it's a wives' tale, but he's also not a fisherman.
Okay.
Look, I'm gonna level with you, all right? I didn't really bring you here so I could answer all your questions about town.
Oh.
We've had several people go missing recently. Over a dozen so far. Sheriff and his deputies haven't found hide nor hair of any of them. Not a single clue as to what might have happened. It's like they just up and vanished. And people say it's part and parcel of the bad luck we've had recently, but I got my own suspicions. And at this point he looks nervous. And he kind of looks to each of you as if he's weighing whether or not to share this information with you, but finally, all right, I'm gonna come clean. Something's going on in this town, and I can't sit by any longer and watch it slowly die. I know you visited the recondite Order of the Indomitable Sea, our local temple, and like I said, most of the town folk are local churchgoers. It's no secret that the Order pretty much runs this town. Oh sure, I'm the duly appointed mayor, but it's the Vizier who pulls the strings. And I think he, or someone else in the Order, might be behind these disappearances. I don't have any proof, only suspicions, but I can tell you that the temple is not all that it seems to be. You've seen it, you likely know. Like I said, practically everybody in town is a loyal follower of Father Voltaire, including the sheriff. So there's really no one else I can trust. I need your help, and normally you'd be suspects as strangers in town, but with all the suspicions, I've had you watched since you arrived. He looks around at you. Don't look at me like that. It's fine if I had you watched. It's normal in this town. You never be too careful with strange folk hereabouts. Anyway, I'm pretty sure you're not involved since you just got here, and in these troubled times, that's my only certainty. You all look like professional sorts who know your way around the business end of a blade. Not like crackpot croons assistants like you claim to be. And I need someone from outside to look into this for me. Therefore, against my better judgment, I'm willing to deputize you to solve these disappearances and bring whoever responsible to justice. I am beseeching you on behalf of the good people of Illmarsh to go to the Orders Hall and take a look around. I'm sure you'll find the priests are hiding something. If they're behind this, you'll be removing a blight from this town and earning the gratitude of its humble citizens. I assure you, you'll be well rewarded for the town's from the town's treasury. Fish isn't the only bounty we take up from the sea. There have been enough shipwrecks and whatnot over the years. We've got some gold amassed. Surely enough to gain your services for a short while. Plus, I know you've been poking about, looking for someone, the rider from the north. Well, I might know a little more about him than I let on earlier. If you help me, I'll tell you everything.
And why are you telling us this information? Why don't you trust the sheriff?
Because he follows the same church.
There's no one I can turn to. The town's full of loyal churchgoers. No one in town's gonna take my side on this.
Is your blessing gonna be enough to get us into the church? They really didn't like us.
No, you're likely gonna have to sneak in and cut your way through.
Eclipse
We excel at
giggles.
There's a reason I had you watched. Like I said, you look good with a blade, good with a book, good with spells. They're not gonna want you poking around in there, and if you proceed to poke around, they're probably gonna fight you.
What do you fear about them?
I fear that they're responsible for what's happening in town. We have no other suspects.
We can go investigate, but I implore that you provide us with some sort of warrant to go check out the premises.
Like I said, I'll deputize you. That should be all the authority you need.
I know a very good deputy. He was
No, you
the
don't.
very best.
Even I know that you don't. You're lying.
Alright, round 2. We just got permission to fuck shit up. That's what we just got permission to do.
I do have one question before we leave. There's 12 people that have gone missing. Is there something that connects them all other than being from Illmarsh?
Not that I can tell. Of the reported, they're all from Illmarsh, to be sure, but nothing linking them together.
All right. I know we've sensed motive on him a couple times. I just want to do one to be sure it's not like setting us up.
Sure.
Ooh, nat 20 for 27.
28.
23?
24.
You get the sense that he's desperate, or he wouldn't ask you this, but you also get the sense that there's something else he wants. And if you think about it, taking out the major power in this town leaves a vacuum for him to fill. So while he does seem desperate and does seem to care about the disappearances in town, he is a smidge selfish.
We can deal with that. That's a known quantity.
He seems so much better than Voltero.
Matumbe looks at his traveling party. What say you? I have many unanswered questions about the Shrine of Gosra and the recondite Order of the Indomitable Sea. You want to check them out again?
Of course. Eclipse has a bit of a mad glint in her eyes. She understands this is going to end in bloodshed.
We must go about this strategically. So, I do believe that there may be a little bit more reconnaissance required, but beyond that, I do not see a way this ends peacefully based on what the priest said to us yesterday.
I hope we can find the missing people, or at least put a stop to it. It'll be good for the community.
I certainly hope so too. I'm willing to offer you 6,000 gold for your assistance. I know it may not be much to clearly adventurers such as yourselves, but it's what I can afford.
That and information that we seek.
Of course, I've already promised that. Figured that might be more valuable to you than the gold, but I thought I'd at least add that in to sweeten the deal.
I appreciate the gold offer. Otherwise, I was going to ask if we could see what valuables have crossed your path.
Oh, washed up on shore.
That's what I meant.
Well, I hope you don't mind getting most of your payment in fish gold. Don't worry, it's
Fish gold?
worth the same amount. It's strange, reddish gold that comes from the bottom of the lake. We have quite a bit in our coffers, dug up from Lake and Carthen over the years. They call it fish gold. It's all gold.
That can't be real. No way. What? That's in the book?
I think there is, like gold that like looks a little bit different that comes
like-
from the sea.
I wonder if it's, like rose gold or something. That's like gold, but has like that pinkish tinge to it.
Fish gold.
I feel like Lyra had some strange gold item at one point, but
Fish gold.
Fish gold is good to us. All right, let's go.
Yeah, sorry, got distracted by that. Alright.
What is the exchange rate between?
about these things later.
1-1. 1-1 unless you got a color preference.
1-1. Alright, let's go.
Alright, I appreciate all of your help. Obviously, keep this on the down low. We can't even trust Sheriff Anders on this.
Don't even know who that is.
He's the guy that brought you in.
Forgot about him.
Guy that brought you in. Not 30 minutes ago you
Forgot
were
about
talking to him.
Didn't have a funny voice like the other villagers.
Listen, I can only do so much, alright? I'm the mayor, I'm the fucking, I shot my load pretty quickly on that, the one dude at the fucking... Just give me a break. What's going on in here? Voice isn't funny enough for you? I'm a devout follower of the Recondite Order of the Indomitable Sea, so don't cause any trouble. We got it, Sheriff Anders. We're good. Like I said, don't say anything. He's right outside.
That exchange was very helpful.
I can almost hear you in there. What are you saying? I'm gonna make a perception check. Quick, get out of here before he makes a perception check.
Oh my god. Alright. We gotta get out of here.
You guys better leave.
So, we should leave and then talk about an actual plan.
That sounds good. Do you guys want to go back to your room, or do you want to clear out the wall-eyed kraken again?
We can't do that again.
You can get a little drunk before.
No, we can't do that to her again, because I'm gonna have to spend a significant amount of gold just so that she doesn't get all pissed off again.
Well, I mean, you got 6,000 coming, so.
I think this is a good enough conversation to have like on a street corner. Like I want to make sure that there's nobody listening through walls or something, because this town is whack. So let's just be outside and talk
Okay.
quietly together with nobody around. What strategies do you have? I ask all of you for approaching the Indomitable Sea, this temple.
Patrons, head to the door. I think I can hear someone shouting dancing on the street corner.
Oh my gosh. Well, Matsume, as you know, I can fairly simply go through the ethereal plane again.
This is true.
We don't know much about the people that are missing. Do we want to talk to the family in some way? Is nobody missing the people other than the mayor?
I don't think that's it, Brooks, by the way. Like, from what I gathered, it's not that people are upset that everyone's missing, but they have no leads. And the mayor doesn't trust, thinks that the church is covering it up, and no one's willing to investigate the church because everyone is a devout follower.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's that people aren't missing their fans, family, and friends as much as no one's looking in the right place.
Or no one's... Or they're all afraid because it is they'd be searching against the churches.
Exactly, yeah. So again, I think going and talking to the people, although helpful, most of the time you're going to get I have no idea, or they vanished from this location, and we could maybe put something together there, but if we already know, like, the one place no one's willing to investigate is the church.
So with your ethereal armor, could our situation be, or our strategy be, that the three of us minus you go to the front door, maybe ask a couple questions. If it looks like things are going hostile or go downhill quickly, and we do the whole roll for initiative, you're in combat thing, you appear behind them, and then it's game on.
Yeah, but I think before you guys would even go through the front door, I think that the game plan should be that I need to look through I want to look through, like, all the rooms.
Sure.
And get a head count. So although I think it'd be good, like, surprise attack type thing, it might be more beneficial that we do that kind of recon. We can see what's in the rooms, where we want to investigate, and then determine whether or not we want to come back at night and sneak more.
Sure.
Freya has, like, no stealth abilities, so that would be a little difficult for her. But for the initial reconnaissance, she did prepare True Seeing today, so she could cast that on Eclipse. And then as Eclipse goes through, she could see things as they
Truly
really are,
yeah.
just in case they're hiding additional things in this church.
So yeah, that's an awesome option. Like, I could do that right now in the light of day. The only risk would be someone else who has True Seeing, like, which is I feels like that would be a rare thing to have that specific spell. And then when I'm done looking through everything, come back and we can decide either to bust in if I see something like horrific, or wait until night, and then still at night there's likely to be less people.
I think this is a great idea. I think this is exactly what we should do. The caveat I want to add to the back half of that is I think the rest of us should be waiting close to the front of the church,
yes.
just in case for whatever reason they can see you and shit goes downhill really fast, we can run in.
Absolutely, yes.
I think during Mass is a great time for this.
Yeah. True Seeing Mass. Yeah.
Is there any way you can communicate with us from the ethereal plane, or not at all? We have to wait for you to come back.
Unless you have some sort of, like, telepathic link, there's no way.
Okay.
Do we know?
Like, if you guys have message or sending between yourselves, message probably would be the one that you would have. I don't think it works between planes, though.
Does the mayor know anything about, like, the schedule of services at this?
Would have been a good question to ask him.
Does the bartender know? Does Laurel know?
Laurel's drunk right now.
Too late.
It's too late. Damn. I mean, like,
Let's just do this thing. There is no reason for us to think that people can see onto the ethereal plane. That is an insanely high magical ceiling to hit.
Yeah, it's a 5th level spell for True Seeing, so it's high up there.
Yeah. This is supposed to just be a church where weird shit is happening. I don't think it's reasonable for us to think that they can see onto the ethereal plane at will and know when someone is going to do them harm. I don't think that's reasonable.
No, it's not. No, it's not reasonable to think that, yeah.
sorry, Steve, I don't care what I substitute your reasonableness with my reasonableness.
And if that's the case, that's fine. But, like, I just think we should just wait by the front and see what Eclipse has.
No, I mean, you're absolutely right. Eclipse, your sight is reduced by half. While you're on the ethereal plane, everything is shades of gray. You can barely hear what's going on
60 feet of
on the
hearing and
material
sight.
plane. Where do you start? Just move yourself around.
Sorry, I was just trying to double check if there wasn't a way that I could do a different type of communication with them. I cannot. I would like to go around back and start in the secret room, actually.
Okay. Secret room looks as you left it. There is nobody in there.
Okay. From there, I see a door to the right and to the left of me from there, so I would like to go to the right.
Okay. You see a pool of dark water that takes up the entire northern portion of this simple room. A plain bench stands against the far wall. Neatly arranged on the stone floor are several bodies, each of which is missing its head.
Okay, that's gruesome on the left side. Then next, I'll go all the way over. I want to end up near the front.
Okay.
Are the heads on this side?
It looks like their heads exploded.
Oh! Well, shit!
There's a simple wooden bench standing against the far wall of this small chamber next to a pool of dark water, and you see what appears to be a couple sitting and waiting on the bench in this room.
Just sitting? Like alive? Waiting?
Yep.
You should wait.
Make me a perception check.
Yeah.
This is some midsummer shit.
19, but add 4 if it's disguises or if I can tell whether or not they're under enchantment.
They don't appear to be under enchantment. That's all you see in this room.
Okay, I'm gonna wait a little bit and see if I see them move at all.
Nope, they just seem to be waiting here,
Not talking. Nothing.
staring at the wall.
Okay, maybe we come back to that. So that's 2 alive people, lots of dead ones. All right. So then let's go the room directly in front of that room.
Live bait does taste better.
Oh no.
You see 3 beds along the south wall of this simple chamber, along with 2 small desks, a chest, table, and bookshelf. There are 2 men in here, one who's wearing much finer robes than the other. They appear to be clergy.
What are they doing?
This is their bedroom, clearly, so reading.
Okay. I'll go into the room right next to that next.
Sure. This small chapel contains a simple altar of green stone at its far end. A mosaic on the wall above the altar depicts a creature that appears to be a mixture of fish, frog, and human. The air is thick with the smell of rotting fish.
Fish, frog, and human.
You can make a knowledge religion check.
They're like fish people. Yeah, I do want to do that.
Please tell me that a fish frog person can both breathe through their lungs, through their skin, and through gills.
It's actually all done through the penis.
Interesting.
Jesus
Said
fucking
that
Christ.
so regularly.
Casual.
30 knowledge religion.
30. First of all, easy for you to tell, the monster in this mosaic is what's known as a scum. And with that religion check, you know that such creatures are not venerated by Gazra in Gazran temples.
Okay, so scrum.
Scum.
Scum.
Scrum is rugby. Scum is fish frog person.
Thank you. Okay. So that's interesting to note. Anything else in that room?
Nope.
All right. Then I am going to go across through the, what you call it, Bethel?
The Bethel. In the
And-
Bethel, you see there are 5 people in holy robes.
5. Okay, and then I'll go across there to the other big room, across, like, all the way across the way from the other bedroom.
Lavishly furnished, this chamber obviously houses a person of high station. A large desk and plush chair stand next to the south wall, across from an opulent bed against the north wall between 2 windows. The other furnishings in the room, including a large sea chest in one corner, are clearly of good quality, though an unpleasant fishy smell hangs in the air, particularly near the bed.
Near the bed?
I said,
where else
through the
would they?
penis.
Can I look under the bed?
You can look under the bed.
I feel like that's where they'd store something weird.
There's a large leather chest, and beside it lies an open coffer that was obviously taken from the chest. You see a number of empty and broken glass bottles that lie near the coffer, some still with a bit of remaining liquid on their bottoms or spilled on the floor. I'm going to say you can't make a check on this because you're not on the same plane.
Yep, that makes sense. It's like, head scum maybe here?
Go ahead and make me a perception check, though.
You can't fail skill checks.
All right.
Uh-oh.
Sounds distinctly like a 1.
Oh no, an ethereal plane trap.
13.
Yeah, you don't really notice anything in this room.
Yeah.
Besides that, it's probably, if you were looking for the Vizier, this is probably his quarters, but he's certainly not in here.
For the record, I do have a plus 12 to that, so, doing good. Okay. Cool. I'm going to go to the very last room that is unexplored.
Unexplored rooms. A small ship's bell mounted on a ship's wheel sits atop a tall altar of green stone at the far end of this chapel. A mosaic on the wall above the altar portrays a sea captain on the deck of a ship in the midst of a raging storm. You can tell that the figure in the mosaic is clearly the same man depicted in the statue in the town square, and the ship's bell is engraved with the name of the ship from which it was taken, the Conqueror. There are 4 clergy in this room praying.
Wow.
Oh.
That's a lot in this one room.
Yeah, I think it's 15 by 15. It's pretty tight quarters.
Okay, I've explored everywhere I can. I've done perception checks when I can. I've looked under the beds.
Can you, in the ethereal plane, poke into those pools and see if they're deep or if they're connected to, flowing water?
Technically, yes. Because technically I could put my body through the earth.
Because that might be interesting if it's connected to something else.
Yeah.
That would cause, heads
Where
to
is
explode.
it flowing from? Yeah. Flowing from and to.
Underwater spring or something.
Water is flowing from the bottom of the ocean.
I'm specifically gonna go to the one where the couple was. Because I would like to see if they're still there. If they're not, I would like to run over to the other side and see if they're over there with their heads exploded.
The couple is still there.
Okay. And there was nothing of extra note that True Scene would have been able to help me with?
No.
Okay, I just want to make sure we didn't forget about that.
As you descend into the water, you notice that it continues in a passage, an underwater passage.
We're going swimming.
However, it continues for miles, it seems to,
Oh.
in 2 directions. One, you can figure, probably goes straight to the bay. The other seems to go north.
The neighbors are north. The neighbors are north. One goes to the neighbors.
Do the couple sitting on the bench both look human?
They look like Illmarshers.
What?
Wide-set eyes, fishy smell.
This fishy smell has come up differently.
I'm sorry,
in
on the
different places.
ethereal plane, I guess all the times I've said you smell fish, it's just,
I don't really smell it,
You
yeah.
don't really smell it. Would you
So,
like to
are
check
they
out
all
the?
scum?
Would you like to check out the bodies?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll go on over to the other side and check out the bodies.
How big were the tunnels? Was it a huge sized tunnel?
They looked pretty big.
Okay.
You could definitely, if you're thinking creature size, you could definitely move a gargantuan creature through the tunnels if you had to.
Uh-oh.
But obviously, the entrance here is not that large. So there are 7 cadavers in here. All the bodies' heads are missing. Their necks end in gory stumps. Several of the corpses are withered and shrunken, as if drained of their life force. Most of the bodies look like your average Illmarsher, except for one. This body appears to have the clothing of a business person from the city.
Uh-oh.
You see something bulging in his pocket, but because you're on the ethereal plane,
Can't do anything.
you can't grasp it. But you do think that potentially these are some of
The missing people.
the missing people.
A pile of dead people is probable cause to search this place.
Absolutely, and we've been deputized. It is time to...
Shock it all!
I don't think they're gonna let us in, though. Still.
I don't know if Eclipse Interacts cares.
I got a holy book that disagrees with that.
Okay.
I don't know if they're gonna let us in. I don't know if we're asking.
Do we want to? The only question before we go further is: do we want to let Horace know that we're We're going in heavy.
Operation Shock and Awe, baby.
What, horse?
This reminds me of my days at the World Wound.
Well, that's backstory I didn't know he had.
Yeah.
It ain't me.
I bet back in his day they were still using napalm.
Horace can fucking figure it out.
What do you think my pops are made of?
Oh, come on.
Agent Orange, baby.
Oh, no.
Jesus.
No,
Agent
no.
Horus. That's what they called me.
How else do you think that they became fish people?
Let's move on.
Yes, it's time.
So Eclipse, poof, pops back into existence with the rest of the party and has seen some shit in the recondite order of the Indomitable Sea.
Yeah, I have.
So Clips appears next to us,
Yep.
and I imagine you relay.
Yeah, so there are 7 dead bodies with no heads, not chopped off cleanly like I would have done, mostly exploded, and also it looks like Lucas is there. In addition, there are 2 people in one of the back rooms, 2 people in a bedroom, 4 people in a very close to the front chapel, and 5 people in the Bethel. So we're looking at 13 alive and 7 dead.
Sounds like probable cause to me.
Oh yeah, no, like this is definitely the place.
Maybe we can save those last 2 that aren't dead yet.
I don't know if they were there willingly or not. They didn't look like they were putting up much of a fight.
We'll have to find out.
Yeah, for sure, but I would say let's treat all of them as though they are, an enemy, and then move on from there.
If they attack us first, yes. But we are here to find any of the other missing villagers.
Totally understand, Freya, but we just found 7 dead bodies, so I'd assume there's a killer here.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah.
But they just might not all be enemies.
Fair enough. I don't disagree. There could be innocent people in here, but I also agree with Eclipse. If any of them act hostily towards us, I will strike back with the full force of Pharasma's wrath.
That is right, Matumbe. But Eclipse, they may be, well, brainwashed in the religion into believing something that they don't necessarily know what they are getting into.
Oh yeah, definitely likely. It's just, again, there's clearly a killer, and I'm treating all of them like an enemy until proven otherwise.
Let us teach them the error in their ways, and this time, the shoes stay on. And Matumbe starts walking towards the entrance.
Yes. I'm gonna step in some mud right before I get in there. Just track it.
No need to be a dick. You're already going to go in and kill these people, probably.
They're
All right, marching order into the Bethel.
spotless temple footprints.
Into the Bethel.
They could easily go right around us, or they could flank us as a party if we went right down the middle. I wouldn't think that we would want to go right down the middle.
What is the game plan here? Is the game plan to come in and kill everyone? I didn't think so. I thought the game plan was to come in and accuse Eclipse Knight kill whoever she wants, but I thought it was to come in and accuse, in which case, why would we go to a side room?
Yeah. We accuse the people in the Bethel. If they ask hostilely, let's light it up.
I think we come in, immediately ask for the vicar, and accuse him. Obviously, everyone else is involved, but...
Yeah, Airbear will at least really try to be aware of our 6. Make sure that we're not just surrounded immediately.
Yeah, in that case, do you want to switch spots with myself?
And
That's a great idea.
Case?
I just want a point of order here. The vicar is actually a lower station than the vizier.
Vizier.
So the vizier was the one whose quarters you were in with all the broken glass and whatever. The vicar's quarters, you saw who you assume was the vicar reading a book.
Oh, okay. Probably the man with nicer robes over there. So,
Yep.
Okay. So that's who I meant that we want to accuse. The highest in
The highest
thing.
guy
Yes.
here.
But you didn't see him here, though.
No, and so I think we should come in and demand, because I don't know if I did not see him, because for all I know, he could have been one of the 5 in the Bethel. I don't know who he is, what he looks like.
All right. Basically, right before we walk in, Matumbe is going to look at Freya and Eclipse and say, "If everything goes to hell right away, follow my lead." And he's going to cast a spell called Coordinated Effort. It's been a while since you guys got this, so you might forget what this actually does. You basically get one of my teamwork feats if you are adjacent to me, and that teamwork feat is going to be Swarm Scatter. So you get a +1 to your AC if you are next to people. It is a +1 to AC per person, but one of those people has to be me.
Okay, yeah.
And then I will also cast on all 4 of us Protection from Evil.
Okay, as you're walking in, those are the buffs I'll give you. You walk into the Bethel. Everybody stands, turns to you. The man you talked to earlier approaches. Well, it seems you don't listen when people ask you to stay out of their holy areas. What seems to be the problem today, friends? As I said before, you're not welcome here.
I feel like this is a job from Matumbe's booming voice. Sorry, Steve, to put all the pressure on you, but...
No, that's fair.
The reason we are here today, my friend, is injustice. It is crimes perpetuated against the people of Illmarsh. It is heresy. It is death. It is fear among the populace. And the 4 of us are here to reconcile those things. I have had a meeting with your mayor, and I think there is cause to believe that people are going missing in this town, and it is your fault. There is evil being perpetuated in this temple, and I will no longer be a part of that, no matter where I lay my head at night. What say you? Are you responsible for the disappearances of many of the constituents of this town?
We're gonna blame the guy.
You presume so much, and yet you know so little. I assume you speak of the dead. Somehow you must have seen them.
Pharasma sees all, my friend, dead and living.
You're a holy man. What could another holy man have done to explode the head of one of their congregation?
Interesting that you bring up the explosion of the head, for that is not something that I have brought up myself.
I'm talking to you directly about the bodies. You presume to know that we are the ones causing people to go missing.
And
We
I
are the
never
church.
said anything about an exploding head, did I?
These bodies were brought to us to examine, to determine the cause. People are going missing. They're not going missing out in the woods or being taken. Their heads are bursting and they're dying. Their families are bringing them to their own church, to the clerics that they trust, to try and find the cause of whatever's happening here. Think we're the enemy? This whole town is built around this church.
So I'd like to know what everybody else is doing in this room besides this one person.
Everybody else has unsheathed weapons.
Okay.
All right. Then Eclipse would immediately also speak up. Well, if they're bringing the dead bodies here, then why hasn't this been reported to the sheriff? Because the sheriff hasn't given the mayor any sort of leads that they even found dead bodies, just that people are missing.
Early Greedle isn't a member of the church.
Doesn't matter. It's his city and his citizens.
Sheriff knows well what's been happening.
Ah, so the sheriff is just withholding information.
Why would we tell Mayor Greedle?
Because there's missing citizens
And
in
we're
this
dealing
city.
with it.
Nah, clearly not well.
Well, he's clearly not dealing with it well, sending outsiders into our church.
In what way are you dealing with it?
We're studying it, attempting to figure out the cause of the exploding heads.
And what have you found?
A malignancy, a parasite that grows within the body and climbs along the spine.
I will say, Batumba here is an excellent scholar and knows great many things, and Freya is a healer and knows a lot about various diseases.
Especially diseases.
We just want to help this town at this point. We tried to do it with the mayor's thing. Clearly that didn't work. You guys are studying the bodies. Can we also take a deep look and look at them together? Maybe there's some things that you guys missed that we could have seen.
Make a diplomacy check.
Okay. 20.
Fine. Follow me.
Okay.
And he leads you to the back wall and pulls he kind of mutters something and the wall shifts across, revealing the new altar of Dagon, and the rest of the congregation descends on you. And I need you to finish your drinks. See you next week.
This guy was no good.
Hideous Laughter Productions is an officially licensed partner of Paizo Incorporated. Carrying Crown is copyright 2011. Carrying Crown and the Pathfinder Adventure Path are trademarks of Paizo. Paizo, Pathfinder, their respective logos, and all Paizo titles, characters, and artwork are properties of Paizo Inc. and used with permission.